Right, let's build my kitchen since it featured in the community challenge blog. What I've got is I've got one of my sandbox world. As you can see, I've cleared the top of the tower and I've put a floor down which is made of the ancient blocks, which are absolutely amazing floors. I've not extended it all the way to the edge of the map. What I've done at the moment is I found the middle of the floor that I've put down. This is one of the things I like to do when I'm doing a big build, is I'll do something like this where I put down a guide for myself. As you can see, and I like using the different colours because it just makes it easy to tell at a quick glance how many floor tiles, etc. you need to come out. Excuse me. The winning kitchen that not the winning kitchen, but the kitchen I did for my build that got showcased was about 6 by 9. So we'll use this as the centre. 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, I'm just going to slap down one, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we do a 5 on one side and we do a 4 on the other side. So when I'm doing these, what I do, as you can see, and that's down already. No matter how hard you try, it can be such a pain to get them to line up. 1, 2, 3. That looks better. 1. Yeah, snapping up here isn't the best, for sure. Right, so as I say, this is just to give me an outline, just so you can get an idea. I thought that might go. You're going to see that happen sometimes with this. I guess is it. I don't need these anymore. As I say, this is just me getting an outside edge for myself. Yeah, this is just all about. I can see that's wrong. Make sure you get everything lined up. You can see that's wrong as well. And that's 1. Is that 4? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, I'm just going to do this. Again, this is just to give you a better idea. looking at it at just where the edges are. And then go back to the red. All this is getting removed anyway, but we're just going to get this into the the whole idea is just try and get ourselves everything at the same height. Not the easiest to do, but as I said, this is just to give us a bit of view of the outside. And the good news is that it's at least all at the same height. So we've now got the outside. Now, I know it's off. I know it's offset, but the kitchen had a stairwell at the back. So the kitchen is actually going to be it's going to be 8 by 6, and then we're going to have a bit at the back here, which is basically the stairwell. Anyway, first things first, let's get all this removed. I've now got my walls. Obviously I'll need to change and this is different from doing it when I did it for the challenge, because obviously I had a lot more building around the Great Hall and everything else that I built. First of all, we're just going to get the centerpiece done. So the centerpiece, this is how I did it. This is where the bunkers will sit across this bit here. And all we did there, it's just the center of these are just one, just like that. And then what we can do here is what I used just the columns. I can find the columns. No. Two. Again, it's all about trying to get all the same height. And yeah, I know I could put a could have just put the other columns on, but I don't want to have the flare out the bottom. I just want it to go all the way down. If you notice, what I do is my standard now for floor is actually 5. It's a full wall and a tile. That's how I do pretty much all my floors now. And then you have a drop ceiling of a barrier height as well. Now what we have to do here is I'm going to have to replace all these, and this is the longer side, so the stairwell's there. Just notice that that's actually not lined up. Typical. And we'll be putting a door in here, and that's for the outside wall. Yeah. What I did with the walls was I used the State Fairs as a centre. Of all my walls. Right. Hello, noob. Thank you for the raid. So, what I'm doing is I'm building my kitchen that the devs seem to like for the challenge. So I'm just doing a how to build it video. That's the plan anyway. So anyway, that's that side down. Because it's going to go up more than 1 floor, you can do. I mean, I could have put in a half block there, but I'm not going to. Bring a barrier there, but I'm not going to. I'm going to take these out because we don't need these now. That's the start of the bunker there, as you can see. That's the outside of the wall. Now I've got to decide what to do here. As for now, I'm just going to put them in. It will step in and out, but we will just put them in as a straight wall to start with. And then as I figure out where I'm putting my blocks again. This is not, I mean, I do a lot of this with my builders. I will put things in and remove them and put them back in and remove them again, change things around. I love using these decorative barriers. These are one of my favourite pieces for giving some bling to your build. Nope. Right, so as I said, this is just, I'm just going to put this in to start with to give us an idea. I mean, this is just sort of how I do my kitchens. Well, if you have a look in the community challenge, there's a lot of builds that a lot of us have done. It's also on the blog, and I know Noob did a build, and I've done one. I've got a couple of short videos which take you around the tower that I built for the challenge. I think it was about 200 hours of work I put into doing that. So yeah, quite a bit of time, quite a lot of work, lots of material. Now, with the decorative barriers, I'll show you a little tip on how to get them lined up. It's easy, as you can see, when you're doing it on the inside. If, however, you're trying to do it on this side, now this is where it gets difficult. The nice thing with these is these will quite happily snap together like that on both sides. But say you're trying to put them around a corner and you want to get them all lined up. The best trick I've found of doing it is you do this. If you were going round to this corner, so say we didn't have this one here, and we want to come down here, and you've been working on this one. So you put this one in, which is over the corner. You do that one, so because you can see that's now nicely lined up. Now you can put this one in, get it all lined up. That's all nicely lined up, and then you can take these two out. That's just a little tip if you're trying to go around corners with these and you can't seem to get them to line up. That's generally how I do it, to keep them aligned so that they're constantly aligned. As I say, inside is easy, the outside not so much. At the moment, as I said, I'm just doing this. Some of this will get removed because it's going to be in the wrong place. Figure out where I'm putting my door. Excuse me. So we just get this in. So I've got the edge of the room. Obviously, on my during tower build, this was all part of we had the tower itself, we had the actual tower itself and my great hall all connected. So this is only one little part of the build, but I'm just going to show people how I did the kitchen since it was featured. Probably take 2 or 3 episodes to do. And hopefully, if I've got it all lined up properly, nope. See, look, this is the problem, and this is I know this is, and it was annoying some of the other builders intensely. It's ever so slightly out now, and it's one of these things. It's almost impossible to, and it's so difficult to get things to be totally 100% perfect, but that'll do. Anyway, now what I've got to figure out now is the stairs up are going to go here. So for now we'll put this in. So this is just, again, this is only putting in walls to work out, flesh out the room so I know where things are. This shows you, so whenever you, rather than starting off like I did there, what you want to do is you want to start off from this side so you can get things lined up right. And that's better. Again, that's all just down to snapping issues. That's going to be my stairwell going up. So obviously in my build I had a feast hall above the kitchen, which made sense. So what we've got now is we've got this sort of outside wall. Now what we had here, let's take these out, is I had an archway which went through to like a went through, and we had some King's Brew kegs, sort of storage area. Time to put the archway back in. Just so I know where that archway is. So that's my archway there. Now, next thing is to put in. Now what we're going to do here is I'm going to put in fair barricades. There's a reason for that, and that reason is, as I said, I'm using barriers at the base of this. Or you remove the ones that I put in, just so I can get them all to line up. Hopefully that's better. Better see. Nope, it's not. Can be a bit of a pain sometimes to try and get these aligned. But again, it just because of that. So sometimes what you might have to do is do this sort of idea. And then take out that one. Now we can put this one, hopefully. And again, see, this is the problem. It becomes such a nightmare on snapping. Because the more pieces you have, the more snapping issues you will get. I know, that'll do. Right. So next thing we'll do is we'll go down the side. That's wrong. That's better. The thing is, especially on big builds, you know, if you get your snapping starts going out, then by the time you get to the end of a stretch of wall, you'll suddenly find that you're half a block out. Now this is probably going to be the same issue, so I'll just do it the same way as I did there. Drop one in like that, delete that. Start blocking. What I'm doing is this is something I did with the build. During series, always have these adamant walls as a outer layer, rather than just going with granite walls to give it additional strength. And then, you know, granite or granite equivalent, obviously, because these are not adamant being coastal, but it's the same strength, ability wise. So we get all these in. Yep. As I say, this is a good way. It's quite a good way of doing it, that, just so you can get them better positioned. And then step barricade. 1, 2. That helps give you your strength. Now, what I did on this side was we had some windows. But I didn't use the windows because I don't like the windows. They're quite small. I wanted bigger windows. I can't remember who I saw using them, but so what we're going to do, this is what you do. Because what we're going to use is I'm going to put in, I'll show you that, we're going to use these archways as windows. And I'm not going to have it there. So we have archway, archway, not sure about that. This is the issue. It's trying to decide where I'm putting the windows. What we can do is do it slightly differently. Which way? So I'm just wondering, do I do archway, wall, archway? Yes. I can't remember offhand. But, you know, you can just sort of play about with what you feel's good. I'll put these in. I'll give you an idea, show you what. And then we would have archway. We would have something like that. We get some windows. Nice big windows rather than the titchy little ones they give you. Now, what I decided to do, but I didn't just want to do that, is I want to have a red windowsill. Now, if I try and put it in because I put the archway in, you can see it doesn't want to go. So what you have to do is you have to actually put your windowsill in first. Again, this is all about order of operations. Moria is great for that. It's working out, learning which way around you have to put things in to get them to work. And we've got an ad break coming up. So, good news is once we had this one, I don't have another one for an hour. go. It's not quite right. As close as you're gonna get it. Then, just okay. Excuse me. Right. So, but yeah, that's how I do my ledges. Take this one out, and again, it's just a case of should look good and put the obviously this is a build that you need to unlock all the new build items. It does make use of all the new build items. And there we go. Ads have started finally. Now, centerpiece is I'm losing where my center is. 1, 2, there. That's my center. Welcome back. Just to remind you where the center of that is for now. I've done my windowsills. I've got the back wall in. And then I'm going to put put a hearth in around here. What I need to do first to get a good rough idea where it will sit, which is something like there. That should give us enough room to get around. And then what we're going to have is area under there is a store, and then we've got room here to put stuff, and I've got room here to put stuff. Stuff. That gives us just space to have a area here for ovens or whatever. And I'm pretty sure I had an area, and we had an area here. I had an area here as well. Right. This is just to give people an idea of how I built the kitchens that I did. Like that. Now, this is something you can do as well that I do quite often. Is I want to make sure that these are lined up. They should be. If you do it that way, and then take the middle two out, because you've got, yes, I'll do it a lot on things as well. I'll actually lining it up from the top, especially when there's gaps, because it's got less things to connect to, which means less places it can clip to the wrong place, which makes your life a lot easier. Wrong stuff. Of course, I'll need to move that for now. That will just give me an idea of where it's going to go. Again, this is all going in for now, while I decide where I'm going to put my doorway, my external doorway. Could do is do it like this, I think, and then yeah, because that means that this window is lined up with the one opposite it. That coastal marble, we put that. Now the other option that I had was to put it in a bit further up, but do it this way on this one. I mean, there's different ways you can do it. I think the last one I actually did it there. I think that might work out better. Probably do this door slightly differently. In fact, I will do this door slightly differently. I mean, realistically, the walls, the thick walls that I'm using, the coastal marble, you could use anything because they're going to get hidden. I like using I mean, obviously I've got I'm using I've got unlimited access to materials. I mean, if you're not using the warehouses and you're building it with material that you're gathering yourself, then obviously you would want to, if you're going to not go for this, you could use an adamant inside because it's not going to get seen. You know, it's just there. I use the white because it makes it easier to see when I'm putting my red. So I'll just show you what I'm going to do, because what we do here is we go to the narrow archways, and that just sits. I mean, it just literally, it'll go straight in place. Quite happily just sit right on top of there. And they will all be in the right place. And now what you've got is you've got this nice white inside with the red windowsill. And again, I was all about trying to get different colours and making it look good. And we put one there as well. You know, the nice thing is because of this, these should just snap straight into the right place. You don't even have to think about it; it'll just snap for you, which was really nice. What we're going to do here is, that's right, this. Yeah, now what we want here is I'm going to use the stout flare door. We've got to just decide. Now, the other option now, I haven't tried this. When I built this originally, I didn't have this, but we could potentially do. See, I wonder if this will work. That one, and then put the forced out fair door fit. It does, it fits nice in the middle there. So there you go. That's an option that I didn't use at the time when I built this. I didn't have the ancient set. So that's definitely a better way of doing it. I'm not sure on the outside now. Let's have a look. What I normally do with these is I would put one like that and one like that over the outside. Now the problem with there is I've not actually tried this before, so we're gonna mess about and try this. So now actually we need to go on here, but we should, hoping, now granite wall should hopefully, yeah, I'll quite happily fit there. I've got that, or the other option would be to take this and put the larger granite archway and just have it run from there. I actually think that will work better. Yeah, that'll work quite nicely. There, that's a better door for it. Again, you need all the ancient set, etc., etc. Now, since we're doing that, coastal marble, we need archways. Archway. Do we do it as red? We do. Always the problem is that looking about the different bits, deciding which piece you want to line up on. Line that up. There we go. Yeah, it's okay. And we can fix it from the outside later. We'll do the same on this side. Now, with this one, I'm going to leave this as an archway rather than go and use the ancient doorway. I mean, you could put a doorway, do the ancient doorway if you want, but I'm going to use the archway now. What I'm doing here, this is why you'll see a lot of the builders do this. You see that instead of putting a floor down, this is all ancient blocks, and that's to allow you to sink other pieces in. If you put these out, I'll just do this just now. So if we were to put in, say, a granite floor here, if I take that off, you'll see that it's put stone foundation in, but if I go to another piece, it will not allow me to stick anything into that. Which is why you will find that all the builders that Moria and Axebeard and Jubo and Fireme and Davy, these are the people that showed me. You use something like, if you don't have ancient blocks, you can use the adamant barriers or the adamant walls, depending on how deep you need to go. But that's why they all use that's why we're all switching to like ancient blocks, is so you can sink things into them. And you can't do that with standard foundation. Realistically, you want to avoid any standard stone foundations in your builds whatsoever. You don't want to use them. You just don't want them. It's as simple as that. So I'm going to use that. I'm not sure if I want to use this. I'm going to use this as a. I'm going to go back to white on this. This is an arch. So we're going to have it as an arch, and as such, it doesn't have any center anyway. So it'll be white on both sides. So. Again, the best way to do arches is to do it as I did there. Is if you're doing an arch over somewhere, get one side placed, place the next arch off that arch. Don't try and place it from, I mean, you saw how I did it there. The other way, obviously, you could try and do it would be to put this in here, and then try and get your arch to snap in place properly. Now, that's slightly out. Whereas if I put it in here, especially when you're doing archways, so that's better. Especially when you're doing archways over large areas. Get one, start from one, and make all your other archways that you're putting in, take them from the one that you put in first. Because if you try and do them other ways, you will find that you struggle. It's as simple as that. That's just my advice on those. What I've got to do next, I'll take these out. Now, what we're going to do now is I'm actually going to, this is one of the things I like doing, is what you can do with your fireplace, for example. So we're going to put a, am I going to put it up one? Let's set this. No. What we do here, what I'm going to do here is we're going to go to, I will show you how I did the fireplaces. Now what you can do is you can have the fireplace where it is. This is what I mean. So I need to put granite barriers on the outside to match the decorative granite barriers here to match the red barriers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do that. That. Now I've got my barriers in the right place. But this is something you have to be aware of, because of course we've got the thickness of the wall to think about, so it actually does go there. And what I'll do is I'll just do this as a granite outside all the way around, since I'm doing this as a standalone just to show you. But you can see there, that is now, this and this are all at the same position. Because I'm going to put windows in, this makes my life easier just to do it this way. And we've got that. We've now got this here. I'm putting this in deliberately because I want to, what I'm going to do is we're going to put these down here, and we're actually going to step the ground earth in, and it will quite happily, as you can see, you should be able to get it nicely in there. It just gives you an idea of where it has to sit. And the problem is you've got to get the walls around, and I think we actually pulled it up one. Again, you can see it can be awkward to get it lined up. hopefully. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure about that. Actually, I might need to push this in. We'll see how it sits. Yeah, that's what I thought. Red sandstone liquid barrier. This is always the awkward bit, is getting it to line up right. What we can do here actually is we can use this one here potentially to line it up. Up. Oh, nope, that was too high. That's better. And again, it's just all about playing about with the snapping to get it to snap. As we want. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine. I'll take this out here. I should better line this one up with there. And you can do it like that and leave the gap. That should be fine. Alternative, you could, if you want, you could fill those. That should be fine. It shouldn't need to be filled. Should quite happily manage. Now, it really just depends on what you want to do from here. Because I did the wooden roof, I'm not going to bother with anything fancy above this. So should hopefully sits nicely there, sits nicely there, sits nicely there. Now, this is where the fun part comes in, is where, how will this look? Or do I need to actually make this longer by one? I think I might need to make it longer by one to fit this earth in. Technically no, it should fit there. What you need to do now is you need to put the roof, put the frontage on. And what I do is I just use a couple of large archways, one there, one there. And we use some columns. Yeah. I do like these small columns. We'll go like that and that. And then now this actually goes like that. And again it goes to there. And once you've got that in, and only once you've got the, you know, you can put in the hearth, but you can't build when the hearth's in place. You have to put that all in. And that's probably too. That's the other thing you can do, is you can just sort of pull it down like that. And you can take the floor. I'm actually hanging it. There you go. That's the first sort of insert. And that's all. That's how I do my inserts. They have to be done. The inserts have to be done before anything else. You can't, after everything, you know, basically you have to get all this done, and then, and only then, can you put in things like the fire. Because if you put it in, if you put the hearth in, you might also find that you have to take the hearth out. Because if you put it in any other way, then what you're going to find is you're going to find that you can't get anything else. You know, everything else won't go. What we're going to do here. I know some of the builders don't like putting floors in at this stage. They will leave the floor to the very last. But because I'm going to be hiding a lot of it, it's going to be easier in some ways to get it out of the way. As you can see, I need to know about that. I'm going with the ancient floor because I like the gloss effect you can get with it. I also like the pattern it gives you. Again, when I did this originally, I didn't have access to the ancient set, so I had no ancient floors. That's why it's just a standard floor. But we're going to get all this. Right, that's better. Again, you can sometimes see if one piece is slightly out. Obviously, this is one of the reasons I put the floor in last, because one of the sort of last, because it gives more snapping points for walls and that to clip to that are going to start being annoying to you when things are not clipping where you want them to clip. think that was right. No, that's not right either. This is the issue that we get with snapping sometimes. Those are out. They're not lined up with these ones at all. The whole row there is just a bit out. Again, this is all down to snapping with the other pieces that are in. There we go. Again, it was just about changing where I was snapping from. Made the difference in where, you know, this is what you have to do sometimes. Just if it doesn't want to, if you're getting what looks like a gap, maybe change the angle that you put in the piece in at. And get another piece in a different place, and that might then line up with that piece. You can see that was over the top of the other piece. I can see that slightly out, but it should be fine. Again, this is just down to all these other bits where we snap like a tiny millimetre out somewhere else. Yeah, you can see that one's out. All it takes is just a tiny millimetre, and then you get a bit further around, and it's not a tiny millimetre, it's out by, it's like a very obvious gap. Change your angle that you're viewing, maybe try putting a different piece in and seeing if that helps with the snapping of the piece that's not snapping where you want it to snap. Right. So now I've got the flooring, it looks pretty damn good. I've got to do this at some stage. Anyway, right, back to coastal marble. Yeah, we're doing I do the windows red, but the walls will be coastal marble. But we will have a bump out here and a bump out here. I might even put something in there. I don't know yet. The other ones I had, we had bookcases here. I might put cook pantries here. Anyway, right, let's have a look. So, coastal marble. Right, keep finding. So, what I'll try and do now, hopefully because of, hopefully, yeah, this is always going to be a problem. So we just put in, I'm just going to put in the bottom ones. Again, you need to put these in. Up. Right, now the fun begins. This is where the fun begins. And if you wonder why these are out there, these are to give the marble counters that I'm going to use the floors to do. Give them something to connect to. They don't seem to like if you just use these. If I did it in other builds, so I've just used the tavern counters there, and they haven't. You know, they've just not connected properly. They've not stayed connected. I'm doing that for a reason, and that's to give me an idea of where. I don't want to. I want to have these, I think, and that's the nice thing about using these ancient tiles that I can sort of see. I've got a nice line to line them up on. What I try and do is try and I don't know, can I we want to be able to that won't go right now. That works quite well there. Oh, wait a minute. No, these are the wrong place. No, they were at the right place. It's over there. Now. Wait a minute. And that's right. This is the fun that I had the last time as well, but I didn't have the ancients to use. I was using the there. That's too far out. It's definitely on the inside one of these that needs to go. Now, I'm thinking actually what I should do is maybe that works quite well. And hopefully I can do something the same on this side. The whole idea is just to give yourself should to do is get this one in first and then put that one. Right. These other taverns in, and then I can just put the one. That's good. And then ancient flooring. Yes. Right. That's how you get the bunker effect. So to the furnishing. So up here, we'll go into the corner first and we'll work our way down. Again, this makes it easier to see where I am going up. As I put in the barriers, and it's just to, as I said, I found that if you try and connect these floors on these, they don't use these, the furnishing's not used for support, so you need to give them some support. I mean, well, technically you could put walls in there, but if you don't give them support, then you might find that you have issues with them deciding to collapse on you, and I've seen that happen. So this sort of furniture, it looks good, but it's not going to add stability. And if you've got pieces, like I said, pieces like that that are connected to it, and that's the only support they have, then you might find that if as your build gets more complex, it does a stability check and it doesn't like it, and then you find that your bunkers come off. As I say, that's the only reason I put these in. It gives these bunkers something to support, some support to stick to. And there we go. So we've now got our kitchen bunker in the centre. All the way around. All the way around. Now, coastal marble crafted fair walls. So we can now put in one there. And this will not be going. Now I can tell you might go, why is this not wanting to go in? Watch this. If I take that out and put this back in, it'll go in now. So if you have issues like that where you've got something that is just not going in, and you've got anything from the furnishings, so anything from essentials and crafting, or anything from the furnishings tabs, any piece, any building piece, actual support piece like walls, columns and that will not sink into those items. They will sink into floors, walls, etc., but you can't do the other way around. So, you know, always put in these pieces last. Always put in the essentials and crafting pieces last. They're the last things that you put in. If you put them in earlier than that, then you will find that you have issues. It's as simple as that. Annoying, yep, but that's how it is. Learning which way around you can build things. Anyhow, excuse me. Now, next things I've got to do is I've got to step these out. I'll just take these out because it makes my life easier. One, two. One, two. Again, this is just me putting those in to get my pieces aligned. Be enough of that. Not perfect, but it'll do. And now, is so the good thing is if it did poke through here, it wouldn't matter, because as I say, this wall here, as you can see, these do, but this wall here is going to get hidden anyway behind a covering. that. So I've got one here, and we're going to put one here. It's literally just the same. And this is all about, as I say, it's giving us spaces to put our ovens and other things. 1, 2. And the other way to do it, of course, the other way there is actually to use that one as my guide. Yeah. I could have used this one as my guide as well, but yeah, see, look, it's all lining up nicely. Get that out. And that's another. I've got 1 shelf, 2 shelves, a fireplace. We will put one. Now this is the only one that's a problem. Because I can't actually push it through the barriers through the wall because of the I need to put the stairs in. Now, what we're going to have here is we're going to have narrow stairs. We want step climbing stairs. We're going to go up to there. Now, an easy way to do this is I'm going to just do this. Put an ancient crimson block in. You can take that out because we don't need it. That's just so that I will put a wall in here, but that's just so that I can get this leveled up. Crimson floor. This is where we use one of the inverse stairs, which is one of my favourite pieces. Because that gives you a really nice bit of support and it looks good. Decorative barrier can go in. This decorative barrier can go in here. Come on. Be knackered. Now that's going to go there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have an archway in here, which is what I did previous. Yes. and we will put some archway here, and then we can put some puzzle boxes in here, which is what I did last time. Now, coastal marble. That fits in there, like so. And this is going to be awkward. Yeah, so take those off. Again, you'll find that you sometimes have to do this. I'll go up here. Again, it's all about changing the angle of where you connect, where you connecting it from. So look, go up there, pretty much straight away. It went in. No, not quite right. No. I used the community warehouse to get a pile of it, and that's all wrong. Not by trading. Trading takes way too long to get this much. I'm not sure how good the new community warehouse is. I've never used it because I actually now have a copy of the file myself, and I've got my own warehouse file, so I just go and help myself. It's in the RTM Discord, yes. If you're playing on PC, you can actually download the save file yourself. I think it's Lionheart's warehouse and armory. The person that was hosting it is no longer hosting it, but there is somebody else hosting the file. But you can find in that thread a link which has got a copy of the file itself, that the world file. So if you're on a PC, you can install it to your PC yourself and help yourself. And literally, that has stacks of 20k of everything. So you literally get stacks of 20,000. I mean, I can go and show you. I'll go down to where I left my resources, which are down here. Yeah, well, I did that when I started playing. I play on Xbox. I've got dedicated server now, but I play on Xbox. When I started playing, I mined out 3 or 4 worlds to get materials to do a build. So I'll put this. Also put that there. So I'll give you an idea what happens. So I'll just take that one. So what you'll get, as you can see, 999 plus 999 plus, and each of these stacks is 20,000. The community warehouses, they have masses of them. Now, word of advice: if you're using these stacks, there is a mod called Fat Stacks you can get as well on Nexus mods. I think Moria, because he keeps him one up to date, so there is a version up to date, and that allows you to stack more than normal quantities of items. But be advised, be very careful using these. If, for example, you put them in a chest, so if you put a 20k stack in a chest and delete the chest will explode, and that stack will then suddenly explode onto your floor, and you will suddenly find that you have 20,000 adamant, for example, lying on the ground, and your game will start to lag. So this is why you will see, if you watch the other builders, they do the same thing, is what you will find is that they will have what they call a build bag, and they will put you put all your fat stacks into a bag and stick the bag on a peg on one of the wall hangers, and so long as they're in the earth radius, you can access from the bag. So bags can be used as storage. But the nice thing about that is, if for example that wall hanging falls off, the mats are in the bag, they don't fall out of the bag, and they don't explode onto your floor, and you don't have the hassles that you would have. That is basically, if you've gone to the warehouse, there's I think it's in Narvi's forge. In Narvi's, you'll find that there is fat stacks of the new materials. But yes, well, that's what I found. Yeah, so basically, any fat stacks, keep them in the bag. Do not take them out of the bag. If you take them out of the bag, if you put them on a wall, if you put them in a chest, and you accidentally delete the chest, or the chest gets destroyed by a horde, then you will suddenly find that you've got 20,000 pieces of whatever, and if you've got multiple fat stacks in it, literally your game will crap out on you. And it will not be very happy with you, and it will lag to shit. So yes, keep them in a bag, that way you're a lot safer. This is just my, what I'm doing is because I got featured on the blog in my kitchen. The devs seem to really like my kitchen, as I thought I'd rebuild it to show people how I did build it. But my Durance Tower build that I did, oh god, I'm not sure exact materials, but you're probably talking $250,000 between adamant, granite, coastal marble, red sandstone, and then everything else, all the other bits and pieces that are in it. It is absolutely crazy how big that build is. I spent about 200 hours doing that. No hordes up here. That's exactly right. You don't get a single horde. No wanderers. No hordes. It's quite funny. The host that I switched hosts from Nitrado to Bisect hosting, because Nitrado was just doing my head in. When Durance Folk came out, their service went to shit, to put it bluntly. I think the issue is that they don't supply you with a lot of memory, and you cannot add more memory to a server for Return to Moria, and it just started to lag it. It just starts to lag out the NPCs. That just cause way too many issues. I just got fed up with it, and I looked into somebody else had mentioned Bisect, and I looked into them, and I had 2 Nitrado servers. I've now only got the one Bisect, but they have this thing called instancing, and what that allows you to do, and that's all wrong. Look at that. Is what you can do with the instancing is you can have when you get, if you go for the basic server, I think it's 2 gig you start off with, the cheapest option. I think 2 gig, and you think that you get 2 instances. You might only get 1, but I've increased mine to 6 gig, and I've added 2 extra instances, so I've got 4 instances and 6 gigabytes of RAM on the server. It's costing me slightly less than the 2 Nitrado servers were, and the nice thing about the instancing is I can have up to 4 save files, loaded at a time, or you could even have different games. And all you do is you go to the control panel and you click swap instance, and it unloads. It stops your server. It unloads the current save file, and it will load up whatever one you go to, whether that is a different game or a different. I mean, obviously, I'm just using it for Return to Moria, so I have different save files, and it's like, wow, just click a button and it's literally, it will load in a different save file for you. Right, so that's looking good. So as you can see, that's the sort of view at the moment. I need to get these panels done up. I need to put one in here. This is going to be the pain, because what I have to do is I need to sink in the red sandstone, but we need to do it at a point where when I sink it in, it's fine there, but it's not fine. It's, well, I suppose technically it kind of fine there, because you can just see the top of it there. That's 3 in anyway, so that'll be fine there. The other problem is we've got this here, which I don't like. I'm not sure about this. Oh, you mean, yeah. Well, that's how you know you've got your decorative barriers back to back properly, if it looks like that. If your boobies are lopsided, then you haven't got them lined up correctly. It's as simple as that. Yeah, it's all about Thank you for the follow, by the way. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's all about just position. You learn. I mean, I watched all the Mariax videos that he did, and I watched a lot of the stuff that Jubo and Axbeard did, and I just picked up my building from that. I mean, I love all these extra materials that they've given us. It so expands what you can do as a builder. I mean, there's so much more we can do because we've got all these extra pieces, and we've got all the extra combinations with the colours, which make a huge difference. That's how I do my windows. It was a granite on the outside that I did previous, so I'll do that. Now, wondering how I want to do this one. Right. I'm just trying to figure out. Yeah, do not skimp on things like columns. Columns are very good for support. Do not skimp on your columns for definite. Adamant blocks are absolutely fantastic for support. As I say, that's why we use them as float. That's why you'll find all the builds you use them as foundation. Go in there. Let's get these in place. That looks okay. Right. Get them right around the right way. It should be fine there. Okay, it's looking quite good. Now, this is going to be the fun bit. This is going to be the fun bit. Red sandstone, crimson barrier. There's a reason why these ones are going to stick up. That's because this is where the stairwell is. Anyway, so I'll give you a rough idea of where everything is there. Now, this is the fun part. That's what we have to do, is we have to now do the ceiling. As I say, what I do is I do a drop ceiling. What we'll do first is we would there's a couple of ways you can do this. I actually didn't. I'm doing this just because I'm just doing it as a one level thing. But when I did this from a big build, and you can see that's out, what I did was I actually did, obviously I kept the walls going up on the outside. I just used full wall tiles. But because I'm doing this just as just a kitchen, I'm not bothering too much with everything else. I'm just trying to keep it to the same sort of height. can see this is always the problem once you've got granite on. The other reason why I did the walls up, it makes it easier to get the right height. Now, this is another thing. It depends on how you want to do it. Again, if you want, for example, if I want to do see that one was out. And then what you need to do is you need to put, sometimes as you see, it's easier to do it from the middle backwards because the middle only has those couple of pieces to connect to, whereas if you do it from the edge here, you've got the arch, you've got the stout barriers, you've got the relief that I've put in. So as I said, sometimes it's a good idea to have a look at what other pieces you've got in place. Depends on what you want. I did this room with the jade lamps, which looks quite good. But it really just depends on what you want. You're right. Some of the lamps, I think the crystal lamps can be very, very harsh. You get a very bright glare. The amber lamps, I think generally they're pretty decent. But I mean, the best thing to do is just try, just see what it's like. Now, the thing to remember is, I think the small lamps they'll illuminate a couple walls. So I think it's from where you've got the lamp, it illuminates maybe a wall and a half on each side, sort of idea. Just so you're aware of that. Just be aware that that's your sort of illumination area you'll get. You get about a wall and a half on a side. I can show you once we get to the dark. Of course, you can tell I'm cheating because I'm starving and I've got the dev gloves on, so I don't have to worry about food. Occasionally, I just eat one just to. And the other thing is, if you've got your delving max, just take it if you're doing a big build, especially if you've got your delving max and you don't need the NPCs in it, take them out and just disable it at the moment until they fix them. Just disable all your NPCs. I can tell you from my watching my console, which shows you the logged file in real life, and it shows you generating errors, and literally all the errors mine generate is all related to NPCs. And it just starts slowing the game down dramatically until it gets to the stage where it's literally unplayable. Right, well, that's a good start there. Now what I like is using the lodge timber floor as a ceiling. And what you do is I put one in, and again this is what I've learned from experience. See, look, you can see there. See, look, you can see that's out. It's a pain in the backside trying to get. So that's happier, and this is the best way to do it. Let's connect. Again, I've got. What you do? See, if I connect there, I'm only connecting to two pieces. If if I connect here, I'm connected to multiple pieces. So once you've got like one end, you can sort of do it that way. And you'll find that the floor is going a hell of a lot easier. It's a lot easier than just to get them all lined up, because once you've got a couple of pieces of flooring actually in place in the correct position, you'll find all the other flooring snaps a lot. It's a lot happier snapping. It's as simple as that. It will just snap in place for you. So this is what I mean. This is what I like to, this is what I like to do. This is my drop ceilings. There's a couple of reasons for this. I like using decorative barriers a lot. And the problem is, if you put decorative barriers at the top, so if I might put decorative barriers at the top anyway in a minute, but if you have decorative barriers at the top, then the crown of the barrier goes through the floor. If you've got a floor like the floor at the same level, I can show you that in a minute. And it was starting to frustrate me. But then I realised what you do is you can have like a drop floor like this, and then you put another floor at this level. And then, so for example, if I have this, I've just done that. If I put a decorative barrier, so say for example we have a decorative barrier there, it doesn't matter that it pokes through the floor, because we're not going to actually ever walk on this floor. We're always going to walk on a floor that goes across it above that. And you can also, especially on a big build, you can also do things like, see that's out, is you can put, what you can do is, put my brain together, you can put beams across, whether you want to use timber beams, or you can put granite floor, you can put granite walls across, or adamant walls across, to give it that extra bit of support, because the floors themselves do not seem to add much in the way of stability. Just to be aware of that. They don't seem to add much, if any, stability. Are you going to go in for me, or are you going to be awkward? That looks better. You can see there, it's still out. Such a pain. That's not a problem, because what I'm going to do next is what we're going to have is, when I can find him, where's my beams? Oh, there they are. So what I did was I did this. We put timber beams in. In a cross pattern. Right. These are always going to be a nightmare, because again it's got bits and pieces it's trying to connect. So that's out. I have to go off and try and put these. It's literally just cross beamed. I can show you the jade lamp shortly. Just need to get we'll do it from there, don't we? The fun and games of putting in cross beams. And in the right place. I'm not sure about that one. Right. The easiest way to do this now is to go up. The easiest way to do this is to take one of these out. Put it in there. Right, let's get all these bloody cross beams in. The floor back in. Hope I've got about another hour before my connection dies. Watch, it goes off after 7 hours after then we log in. If it do go off, I will come straight back, but that's how it is. Right. We'll get those put in. We'll get this floor put in and I can put some lamps in to give you an idea what it looks like. Take those out because that makes it easier to see where these cross beams need to go. Yeah, that's right. That's better. As you can see, it's ever so slightly off. Problem is, it's virtually impossible to get them to be 100% lined up. Absolute bloody nightmare. So that's that, and that. That's all that there. Badly that was it. That'll do. And a long car beam, which is going to be pardon me. What I need to do now is work out the bottom here and what we do there. What's the marble? This is going to be a got to decide. As before, get your archway in. Right, I need to go up here. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to do this slightly different. Normally with the stairs I would do it as a 2 wide. We want a 1 wide. And I'll try something. Right. Timber floors. Yeah, probably. It's still wrong. Always the same. Try to get that. Nope. Come on. Always a pain in the ass getting these. Yeah. Might have been easier putting the flooring first. Not right at all. No, I made my bed and to lie in it, as they say. This looks fine, so maybe if we put this on, I can build off this. No. Why is that one so far? Try again. I hate this at times. Should have put the floor in first. I knew I should have done that. What's wrong? That's fine. Lovely. That's wrong. That's wrong. Hey, my God, that's weird. That's better. Best, but it'll do. Right. Here's the nice ceiling that I had. Now, can I put, because this is what I want. I've got that in place. I want to put this. That goes through there. Yeah, that's fine. Feel free. That's why I'm doing this so people can see how I did it. Right. Yeah, this is one of the fun things that I liked. Get to see. Get the rest of the ceiling in first. You probably better putting the ceiling in and then putting the wood beams across, but it's 6 of one, half dozen the other on what you find easiest, because sometimes the floor will go in fine and sometimes it won't. The problem is the more pieces you have, the worse the snapping gets, as in the harder it becomes to snap things as you want them to snap rather than it trying to snap as it wants to. Trying to snap to the wrong piece, for example. It's all a case of just, you might have to change the view angle, change which piece you're trying to put in, and put a different piece in. And there are certain pieces that will not go in if other pieces are in place. You have to take the other piece out. You know, that if you get them in the wrong order, if you put the pieces in the wrong order, then they just decide they're not going to fit. It's as simple as that. It's not perfect, you can see there's mistakes, but it's hidden. That's the other thing that helps do. That helps hide if there's any slight snapping issues, because you've got this cross hatching with the timber beams. You won't see it. It's as simple as that. Now, this is going to be the fun part. Where are they? They're not there. I have these. So what the hell are they? there they are. So that is how you get them to look like they're hanging from the ceiling when they're not. I get them to hang at the right heights. You might find that you have to play about. I might have to take that one back out. There you go. Station. There you go. That's the hanging pots. That's how you have to. It's just a case of it. Literally, I use these pillars and the beams as a nice way of hiding the stupid post, etc. Get some right. And that's how you get them to look like the pans are hanging from the ceiling and not off their silly pole. One side, it's a bit too close to one side, but and brakes. Oh. I've got 1 and 2 there. I do need to put one there. got to figure out. One side just going to have to be without. Great house. That's the jade lamps that I used. Gives you an idea what the cover looks like. I've got the fire there. And I've got the wood and lead. I'll put them back in a second. Because what we have is we have one timber beam there and one timber beam there. And we can use the car barriers. Nice. And then you can put your come on, where's the cooking stuff? Oh, come on, crafting. Okay, yeah. So roasting pits. 3 stoves in. To the large pieces and put the car barriers in on this. Okay. We've now got a bit of a hood. Another hood. Move that into a storage space. And then let's now, what I did in the other one, I think I will do on this one, is I used the barriers at the top. When it does this, yeah, do that. Barrier. Fair. Yeah. I'll have to move that back out to put those ones in. Well, I need to move those out before we put one in. I do need to put something in here, along there. I haven't quite decided how to do that because of this bit. Take this out. put that back in. And about there. There you go. But yeah, that's pretty much us. We've got gold to put up here. It's not 100% the same. But that is roughly how I did how I built it. I'll give you some sort of idea. Over there. Let's go on there. I need one over the fireplace, but I'll put one over the fireplace. Over the doorway. Over this archway here. So I need to figure out how I'm dealing with that bit. I don't know if I can get. Yeah, so I can't get with that. I would love to be able to put them in there, but it's too much hassle. So that gives you an idea. As I said, I use this for storage. I can put. What I need to do is put something in here. It's just going to have to be on one side. It will be fine with. It will get decorated, and the other side it won't. 1, 2, 3. I think we do it on both sides, not. It's just going to have to be. 2, 1, 2. They're at different heights, you can see that straight away. And oh, what we need now. Get these decorative barriers in. Again, I'm using the I can leave that one. Can't on this side, because on this side that would go from pierce through into that bit. Like that. Oh, I could actually. I could just do it. What I can do. What I'll do is I'll do this slightly differently. That's okay, we can do it from there. And then what we can do is do like that as a shelf. Shouldn't impact any of this. It's way out. There. So they're fine, but there. Too bad. Again, you can see this is why you have the drop ceiling. Like that. And hidden. It's down hidden, you can't see it. Right, no problem, speak to you later. Right. I'll call it a night anyway, because as I said, my connections are likely to die shortly. That's how I built my kitchen. Give you an idea how I did the windows and the bunker. Storage area there, and again this would just get built up, and that'll be another storage area here. But there you go, that's how it's done. And you just flesh it out. As I put some bookcases in, a couple of grist mills can go in here. My 3 ovens would go in there, and then maybe some chests. Done this slightly differently this time. I think that's a better way than what I did last time. So you can put a couple of nice chests here. I do like these puzzle chests. They look quite nice. I'm quite happy to just take a couple of puzzle chests there. Boom, boom, and you can put some shelving. I put shelving in here. More puzzle chests. So you can do something else in this area. You can put delve chests in. There you go. That's how I did the challenge kitchen. Upstairs, you would literally, I would put this would have some cross bracing put in. Normally I would just do like granite barriers, so 3, 6, 9, 12. Again, you would just feed these down. The other thing you have to do is when you're doing the barriers is make sure that you're not sinking them too deep into the flooring, that they show through. Whoa. They shouldn't do, because obviously we've got the wood beams, so you shouldn't see them because you've got the wood beams, which will be in the way. But if you've not got the cross beams in, if you're not going with that, then what you might find is you may find that if you do these and you sink them in, if you sink them in too deeply, if your floors and that and your walls have got out of alignment, that you might find that you have to be careful how you put them in so that they don't sink in too deeply. But again, you would just do this all the way down. Do it across as well as you want. These are all these strings would go down, and then that gives you some extra support. It connects the stability from one side to the other. You can put the cross bracing in as well. But it also, as I said, it gives you that bit of just a bit of a base to put your next floor on. And what I had was, I had an entranceway here, and then this here I built is my feast hall. And because of the smoke coming through here, I would build another hearth above it. It didn't need to be a big one maybe, but you build another hearth above it to connect them and hide the smoke coming through. There you go. Obviously it doesn't look much from outside because I've not there is an issue from the outside. On my build, I actually had some stuff here, so it didn't matter if I pushed it in. So that's something you would have to think about. But of course, you would always bring this out one further to here, not sink it in, and then that would solve your problem. I did that because I knew I had the space, and it just gives you that little bit extra walkway space here. You don't need it. It's all just a case of, you know, you just have to, I mean, as you see at sort of start, a plan out, have a rough idea how big you want it, especially, you know, depending on the space you have, work out how you're going to connect everything. I mean, if it's in the mines, and you know, you need to work out how you're connecting it, where you're going to get the support from, where's the stability coming from. Now, this is the question, will the ancient flooring, if I put ancient flooring here, will it show through? No, that's good. Again, I'm using the ancient flooring, but actually, this time, because actually, since I have access to it, it's got a nicer marble effect. And then again, all it was here. Another carved beam. This is the only one where you have to maybe think about it. I'm not quite sure where that would show. It's the same here. You might have to just use the singles rather than put. You would need to use the singles because, again, this one you might get away with. Yeah, this one we will get away with. But this side we won't. So this side would have to definitely be two of the carved ones. And again, this is just to give you an idea. Put the ovens in here. And again, with the I like the jade. I do like the jade lamps for the kitchen. And you can do this as well. Put it on the inside. Here you can put one here. Backlight. You just give them some backlighting. And then, as I said, maybe put a couple of grist mills in. Add a couple of bookcases. The chef's recipes over here. And so I think the only other thing I've done that I haven't put on so far is I put some tavern, again using the tavern counters, but this time putting them in the other way around. as cupboards. This way round on top, shelves in on this side, going from the middle. There we go. There you go, one kitchen. What I actually would do on this one with that is because I've gone with the red sandstone, I will bring the polished floor down there, rather than having it where I had it previous. See, that one's out. And that would make more sense with it. Like that. That would make more sense. You have to put the floor in before you fill that gap. If you put these in, you know, try and put, I don't know what it is, but if you try and put floor underneath, the floors underneath adamant walls, it doesn't like it. Still not putting it in the right place, but it's close enough. So that's now makes more sense with that there. As you can see, there's a few mistakes on snapping. You know, if it's pretty close like that, you shouldn't have any issues. What I did on the outside was, like, again, you would have more columns going up the outside. I went there. I had big columns. I used the big adamant columns. So I use these at the corners here. You double them up. This is a great way to use these. You get sort of a nice rounded column effect. Do it like that. They sit on, the thing is, adamant columns, you've got to remember, they sit on a full brick, like a full block. The granite columns, like normal granite, they sit on the edge. So you would have these columns here, a granite column in the centre, and then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can put another of the granite ones, the adamant ones here. We can put 1, 2, 3, 4. Put it there, and 1, 2, 3, 4 there. So you've got the same sort of gap on both sides that way. And yeah, you'd have that going up. That's on your back wall. That then giving you the support. That helps give the support, and there you go. I hope that's helped people see how I did it. Feel free to steal any of the ideas that I've used. They're not all mine. There's a few bits and pieces I've stolen off other builders, and yeah, I might do another how-to video at a different stage, maybe showing people how I did the overhangs and gave portable support in so that it didn't fall off. As you can see, we're to a free camp. But actually over here, you can see it's over here. We've got an awful lot of space. And here, and all here. This can go all the way out to the head of the Wolf King there. Right, well, thank you for watching me, and I will call it a night of that. I'll see if there's anybody on to raid first. Don't know if there is. I found somebody we can raid, so if I can figure out how to do that. Yep. Hello, and we can do a raid. Well, thank you for watching. I hope it was a useful view of how I did my